how did this loving and faithful wife that we know of end up stabbed dead in the family home, and then a complete stranger who happens to be into bondage and discipline, what's he doing in the home? And he's dead. Now, another thing I find highly curious, and let me just go straight out to Barry Golden, former senior inspector for the U.S. Marshal Service, owner of Golden Consulting Investigations. Barry, when you've got a double homicide, typically sheriffs, and you were just hearing the chief of the Fairfax County Police, Kevin Davis, speaking, normally they give you more information, and you rarely hear them say the husband, who I'm not going to name, and the au pair, who I'm not going to name. That just makes me want to know, who are they more than ever?
Yes. Well, we now know that the husband was a federal law enforcement officer and a person trained. So when that person finds out that an unknown male is in his house, okay, you're a trained law enforcement officer. If you're like most law enforcement officers, wherever you go, you take your firearm with you and you go back to the house, you're going to wonder, who is this guy? Is he robbing? Is he doing something to my wife? So there are a lot of questions that I have. What happened in those seconds when he arrives back at the house and then goes upstairs? What did he hear? What was going on? Were there screams? And then what happens when he gets to the door? A lot of those answers right now haven't really been filled in. We kind of jump from he arrives at the house to he's in the bedroom.
Okay,
So
Barry Golden, you're perfect for these questions. With me, an all-star panel. I'm going to get to everybody in just one moment. Barry Golden, a former senior inspector with the U.S. Marshal Service. And let me tell you something. You want something done, you call the U.S. Marshals. They will find your guy no matter where they are, or woman. Barry, but another question I'm asking is, why is LE law enforcement withholding the name of not only the husband, but the 23-year-old au pair?
Well, at that point in time when that chief of police gives that statement, that's probably early on. That's same day, an hour or hours right after the incident. So they want to keep some of that information close to their chest right now. It's early in the investigation, so they don't want to identify everybody at that point in time.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
The fact that
okay, I will accept that right now. Yeah, I will accept that. I think you're right about that. They didn't really understand what was happening or what they had a hold of. Guys, take a listen to more from Chief Kevin Davis, Fairfax County.
The first 911 call came from what we now know to be the au pair's cell phone. That 911 call was an open mic. Nothing discernible on that call. It was a quick hang up. We noted that call 13 minutes later from the same 911. From the same cell phone, a 911 call was made, and on the phone was first the au pair communicating with us, and then she apparently handed the phone to the husband. The husband communicated with us, and that's when the husband told us that he shot and killed a man inside of his home, and that's when the husband told us that the man who he shot and killed was stabbing his wife.
Oh, man. Alexis Tereszcuk joining me, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. This is very complex, so I just want to take it one step at a time. So the husband comes home for whatever reason. He goes in the home. As Barry Golden pointed out, something led him to pull his weapon, to draw his weapon. But there were two 911 calls. The first one, nobody said anything and then hung up. And then there was a second 911 call. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. There was a 911 call and it had an open line, which meant that the operator could hear, but nobody was communicating, saying, please come help me. There's been a break-in, somebody's being shot or murdered. So they immediately, that will automatically send the police officers, the operator will send the police officer to the home. An open 911 call is very suspicious. 13 minutes later, they get a second call, and it is from the au pair's phone. And this is where the husband has said, I have shot somebody because they were stabbing my wife.